Welcome to Girl Talk with your host, Melissa Ann. Girl Talk is that show which discusses the real issues Black women face being a mom, a dad, a wife, a girlfriend, a sister, a co-worker, a therapist, or whatever hat Black women wear on any particular day. Why? Because Black women are just dope. Without further ado, here is your host, Melissa Ann.
Welcome to Girl Talk with your girl, Melissa Ann. We are in the studio with my crew. Looks like this is going to be the Girl Talk crew for YouTube. So we are going to have a great time this evening. And we got some really good participants on tonight. So Kai has been a person that has always been on, but go ahead and introduce yourself, Kai. And then we have a new person entering into our crew that we're very excited about. So I'll throw it over to you first, Kai, since you've been a repeat offender, and then over to you, Miss Amber.
Repeat offender, but my record has been expunged totally. Back with the people. Girl Talk. We're going to make it happen tonight. Really, really good episode. I'm looking forward to hearing from our special guest.
All right.
First time offender.
Well, first time offender checking in. I'm okay with my record, so let it be known. I do the crime, I pay my time, and I let people know it was me. So thanks for having me. I'm a Richbook, so I'm excited to be a part of the conversation.
All right. So first of all, you got 3 New Yorkers on here, so it might be a little rough.
New Jersey, so y'all can have New York. I'm gonna take New Jersey.
She's a New Jerusalem girl. New Jerusalem.
You said New Jerusalem. You been there?
No, New Jerusalem. That's the name they give to Jersey.
Why?
It's like they call New York New Yiddy or Up Top. It's just just a slang name. New Jersey.
But you heard of that? You heard of that, Amber?
Mm-mm. But I can see why it's New Jerusalem, because everybody from New York want to come there to have a better capacity of living. So I understand.
Oh, that sounds like some shade.
No, that's one perspective.
Yo, okay, I'm about to share something. All right, so you see those feet? What happens if you on a freaking plane and that happens to you? Like, that is happening right now, where people feel like it's okay to put their damn feet up on your chair and chill while you on the plane. So, New Yorkers, I would like to know, what is your response if you see that shit right there?
Wow, that's crazy. So honestly, if I see it or if I experience it?
If you experience it.
Okay, so I feel like, one, the way that I carry myself, I most likely would not experience that. But if I did experience that, I would absolutely, one, make a statement, make it be known, ask them to put it down, or not even ask them, be like, you need to put your feet down because this is inappropriate, etc., etc. Bring the flight attendant in, because first of all, you having your feet up, that's a flight risk. You're a liability to this flight. If we hit turbulence and something happened, now you're a liability. So that's the way that I would have to navigate it, by way of to the flight attendant. I don't foresee myself acting, New Jerseyan or New Yorkish to handle the situation unless I am provoked, I am dismissed, and my concerns are disregarded, because that's just disrespectful. So I think that's the same thing.
It's nasty.
Right? Yeah, it's like flipping the table. When people opening a tray and they just let it fall on the back of your seat.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's disrespectful too. So now you got your feet up. Now you're being disrespectful. So it's hard for me to say what I would do because I'm not in that situation.
Yeah. My question is, why didn't the flight attendants come and shut that down?
Yeah.
Maybe the flight attendant didn't see it.
All right. Well, I've had a similar experience, but it wasn't barefoot. But I was sitting next to a woman, and she wanted to cross her legs, and her feet kept hitting me. And I said, "Miss, will you mind not crossing your legs so that your feet won't hit me?" And her response was, "Well, I need to be comfortable." And my response was, not at the expense of me being uncomfortable. So move your feet.
That's a great response. That is a great response. Not at my expense. I absolutely want you to be comfortable, but not at my expense. I'm
And
not here
then,
to please you.
So,
then
go ahead.
let me just add this one last piece. And then after she moved her feet, and I took out my Lysol wipes, and I was wiping down airplanes before COVID hit. I offered her a wipe, and she took it. So it was no hard feelings.
Well, I offered her a wipe, and she took it. So
Right.
in that same article, it talks about a woman who put her feet up, and she had a blister on her foot, and the blister bust and got blood all over everybody.
It's like who's responsible for this situation? Like, who would be responsible? Because that could be a lawsuit against the airline, right? Because
Yeah.
as a flight attendant, it's your one of your roles to navigate the plane, right? To maintain orderly conduct and experiences for the guest. So who would be responsible?
I don't know. It's just nasty all around. What's what you gonna do? Sue the airlines? You can't sue the airline. What are you suing them for?
Yeah, duress, stress, mental anguish.
You'd have to have one hell of a lawyer. I don't know. That's just nasty. But people are doing stuff. People are actually tripping on planes right now. You get on a plane trying to bogart the captain and the pilot, trying to get into their cockpit. They tripping on planes right now.
Yeah, I've checked quite a few people on the plane before. Being rude and just, I don't play that.
I just had one man that was rude because in Southwest, you pick you could have the A, B to C, whatever numbers, and then I was C, but there was a seat open in the front in the middle. So I was like, I want to sit right there because I don't like sitting in the back. And he was like, there's plenty of seats in the back. But I was like, but I want to sit right there. And he was really pissed off that I wanted to sit in that middle seat, and he got up and left.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Please give me
I'm like, bye.
Right.
Thank you for the space. The flight attendant was just like shaking her head, like, oh.
But they had a recording about that, like a video. I feel like it was a commercial, like through social media. It was like years ago, and there was a white woman from like a European country who said she didn't want to sit next to this black person and how they were disturbing her. And the flight attendant was like, "Oh, ma'am, I understand your concern. We have a first class seat available." So the white woman begins to get up to get her stuff to go. And she tells the black man who's sitting next to her, like, "Oh, sir, come with me. This seat is for you." Because she was just like, you don't deserve to be treated like that. And so that's where I feel like, as a flight attendant, you have to mitigate these risks that are on your flight, right? So
yeah, but the other element of that is right now the flight attendants are overworked. Like they're having to take extra shifts and stuff because there's not enough people. There's not enough planes even right now. There's not enough pilots right now, so they're actually overworked.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I'm sure is like you're gonna have to
giving us some little Pepsi peanuts and pretzels. They give you the pretzel snacks, and it's only 4 little pretzels in there. Like, I can't even get a soda. You got to get a little bottle of water and a little pack of pretzels. So.
Oh, they had soda on the last one I had, but it, just a little cup of soda. So the other topic, another topic I should say, that we are dying to hear about, and I'm gonna play a little clip of this fool. Is this Kevin Samuels dude? You guys have heard of him, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the clip, and then I would like to have a conversation. So the second part of this clip is he was saying that maybe you should take lessons from Asian women and Hispanic women so that black women can have a husband.
Because they ain't copying y'all.
You don't think so?
They may be copying a look, but the software is different. the femininity, the attitude, the accountability, the desiring to please your men, cater to your men, submit. I just said, go ask the women who are doing better than you, and the first thing you said, and that's why y'all are dying alone. You want children?
I'm 24 years old, so I haven't decided.
I was 24 years old, have to do anything.
I'm still young and living my life. I
swear to God, I did not pay her. She's been programmed to think my 20s are for me. So at late 20s and 30s, then I'll decide whether or not I want to have kids, and it's too late by that time.
I want to know why this man think he is the freaking messiah for black women. A. B. Why do black women keep calling into this fool and asking him questions?
That's the same question I have. Is, you know, and so look, here's the deal. You know what you're going to get when you call into that show.
Yeah.
It's like enter at your own risk. You know what you're getting into, and so you know what it's about. So my question is, why do we? I don't know. Is it self-esteem? I don't know. Is it to get some likes? I don't know what it is. I can't call it.
Why you think that fool is attacking women?
I mean, I'd be like, sis, if you want to be me, just say that. If you could show me how to be a black woman, baby, come on. Show me how to be a black woman. Show me how to be vulnerable. I think that this is a multifaceted question and there's no right answer or complete answer. I think it's like what Kai said, like it absolutely has to do with self-esteem. But when it comes down to these things right here, y'all looking for validation, right? And they're looking for validation. And why do they call into him? Because you have so many unhealed black men who are in support of his narrative of tearing down black women, and not necessarily just because they're tearing down black women, but because some of these black men who are unhealed have been torn down by black women. Unhealed, let me say this, by unhealed black women. And so as a healed black woman and many other healed black women, there's not anything that you can say to me about me, right? Because there's 7 billion people in the world. Not every man is looking for a woman who's 5 feet and 120 pounds. Not every man is attracted to a woman who is 5 feet and 120 pounds. And when it comes to these type of situations, and let me know if I'm like just
go ahead. Yeah.
When it comes to black women and black women, men, but specifically black women, right? And being compared to other women of other races and experiences, these other women don't have the cultural, the historical, or the generational traumas that a black woman has had to carry, right? So when you look, have traumatic things happen to other cultures and races, I'm pretty sure. But in relation to the black woman in America, who has had to watch her man in slavery, right? Had to have her watch her man be violated and emasculated, and she's forced to bear children, work in the field, try to support her man, but also watch her man be ripped away from her, right? So then on the other side, right, that's something that a black man has to heal from, because he's like, yo, as a man, you're taking away my ability to provide and protect my woman, my black woman, right? So now we have two dichotomies. So now when you look at a white woman, I'm just going to use a white woman for example, she doesn't have the experiences of someone telling her what her value is from birth to old age. But then you got black women, we're being told, right? My whole life, I thought I was dark chocolate. It wasn't until I got to college where I was like, oh, I'm not dark chocolate, because it was like, oh, you're pretty for a dark skinned girl. You don't hear somebody telling a white woman, you're pretty for a blonde, or you're pretty for a dark haired girl, or you're pretty for a redhead. So there's so many different facets that I'm speaking on a black woman's side of being unhealed that we have to heal for ourselves. And the same thing on the black man's side, because there's what's happening, right? It's just unhealed cycles. So I'm unhealed, so I'm gonna mess with you because you unhealed. You tear me down, so I tear you down. Now I'm gonna go to the next person and take my unhealed BS over there to them. And it's just a vicious cycle. So I'm gonna stop there so I won't like be over talking. But that's just my perspective.
That was a good perspective. That was really deep. Really, really, really deep. I have a perspective, but I know, Kai, I'm gonna let you go first. What you have to say?
No, I agree. Totally agree with it's never a monolithic answer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's so much, and so I don't know much about Kevin. I know I think he's been married like 3 times. If you look up his credentials, there's really no quote unquote credential that he's gone to school for to be like a relationship counselor or a coach. So in this day and age, it's very easy to just pick up a platform, and if you get enough callers and you get enough people looking and people liking it, it can take off.
Yeah.
And I think right now we're in a time where divisiveness is selling. We've come out of this presidential cycle where it was very divisive. We're in a new administration. It's still very divisive. I mean, you look at the conversation is very divisive, and you have men that subscribe to what he's talking about, and there's rah rah rah, root him. But at what point do we come together as a community to heal and stop?
Yes.
And that's the part I don't like is that
Yes.
he tears black women down. It's
And
condescending.
praises other races. I'm sorry, I did not mean to cut you off.
It's very condescending, and I don't. That's what I don't appreciate.
But what I don't appreciate is we already have enough on our back. Like, we don't need you destroying us. We have to go to work and deal with microaggression and different things in society. We don't need to be reminded that we don't have husbands.
Yeah.
We don't need to be reminded that we carry extra meat on our hips and our thighs and on our waist. We don't need to be reminded of that. We see that shit when we walk and look in the mirror every single day. So who is he to come in as the authority and then tear women down even more when you're already down? You're already fighting against the different things that that society has to offer.
So let me say this, like when you look at any non-traditional political leader, right? So Nazis, Fidel Castro, like, right? Communists, whatever. Like, how did they become so powerful when you listen to their rhetoric? They tap into people's fear. They incite fear and they build on that fear. Okay, so what is the fear of these black women? Okay, if I hit a certain age, I won't be desirable. I won't be able to find a black man specifically, who will love me and care for me, etc., etc. Then when it comes to black men, inciting the fear that, okay, there aren't any black women out here who are viable candidates to be my wife, and the black women who are viable candidates, they're already tarnished by having multiple children, so they're unworthy or they're overweight, and there's this fear that he's feeding and that people are clinging to of their own fear, instead of, if you heal, you understand, right? So when it comes to, okay, you need to be married, and this is what feminism is, like, if we want to go back to traditionalism, if Kevin, I don't know what he is or how he identifies, but let's just say hypothetically, people who are in the homosexual community or identify in the LGBTQ community, if this was 50 years ago, we wouldn't even be having this public conversation, because you would be coming to me,
right,
as a heterosexual woman, like, how do I navigate this? But now, because we are in this time frame where it is okay and there are freedoms and liberties to be who you are, if you're in that LGBTQ community, that's the same thing when it comes to women. I don't have to. My traditional role of getting married, having children, taking care of the home is not a norm. It's no longer a norm. But what happens is people are idolizing that normalcy. But then if we go back and we assess the black family, where there was a father in the home and there was a black mother in the home, fathers were murdered, dragged out of their homes, assassinated, lynched, killed, drafted into war. There's the war on drugs. Like, there's so many different factors that came into destroy the black family, the black communities, right? The black elite. There's so many things that have impacted the black community, and because we haven't healed, we just recycling traumas and experiences.
Not only the recycling, think about it from a different lens. That women are so broken, that's why they're calling in.
Oh yeah.
Listen to him. They are so broken that they are trying to figure out, why not me? Why am I not desirable?
Mm-hmm.
And then they rather hear this chump beat up on them and think, oh, well, maybe it is me. It ain't you.
Right. It's abuse. And so think about it. A lot of these people have maybe experienced abuse. We experience societal abuse all the time, right? By seeing women who do get their bodies done, who do get tans to be darker and complex. That's abusive, right? You telling me wearing these big earrings and crazy is not cool. Me having a twist in my hair, but then somebody on a fashion runway has the same style, and now it's like, oh, this is eclectic, this is essential, this is that. And I'm like, well, damn, you just told me that I wasn't good enough. So, okay, let me call in because I'm thinking this, but I need somebody who looks like me, right, to confirm what I was already thinking and feeling. And these aren't always conscious thoughts, right? These are subconscious experiences, because I do believe some women come in like, all right, I'm gonna be different. He can't tear me down. He won't be able to do whatever. And he does.
It goes to, again, I think, again, it's a combination of things. I think Richbook just made a great point, and I'm a call in, and he won't be able to get me, and then they get got because it's his show, and he's gone, and it's his platform, and he knows how to run that show.
And he looks for things.
Right, and exactly. So
it's always almost.
It's an ambush. It's an ambush. When you go to that show, you have to be prepared for an ambush.
That's a good way to put it, because it was like, I mean, it seemed like in the beginning of this, which I didn't play, they were having a conversation, and then he asked, how much do you weigh? So that was the ambush.
Mm-hmm. Because, and then she said, look at me, I'm not overweight. So then that's another thing too, right? Black women who are interested in going to the military, there's someone that I know now who is clear. Like, if you see her, when I say her body is bad, I'm like, well, goddamn, I didn't even look like that when I was 20. Like, how your body look? But she's like, damn, I gotta, Miss Amber, I gotta lose 2 inches off my stomach and off my hips. Because what are the standards of joining the military when you want to go into the military? It's different when it comes to different body types and different body masses and makeup. Of course, a black woman is going to have a little bit more weight if she got a bigger booty, if she got hips.
Yeah, they don't. Those standards aren't. They don't consider the anatomy of the races or the ethnic groups.
They use that chart.
Right,
yep.
Yeah, it's a one size fits all approach to that, and it shouldn't be that way.
5 feet, 119 yards. Last time I was 119 pounds. I swear to God, I was in 7th grade. Like, ain't no way. So now, as a grown woman, and realizing like, oh, your hips really do spread. Oh, these things do happen. The anatomy is different. When you look at women of other races, they don't have the extra fat on their back that they have to carry.
Shit, I don't have it. I don't have it, but I have it in my belly. It went to my belly versus my booty. If we could reverse it, I'd be fine as hell. You hear what I'm saying, Carr?
Okay, that part.
Got a butt in the front.
So I have a question though. What do y'all think about the supporters? Because he does have a large fan base, and people are like, "Oh, the Godfather."
They, like I said, they looking for someone. Like you said, the men are looking for someone that is siding with them because they probably hurting or have been hurt by someone. But Kai just said he is not a supporter. But why do you choose not to be a supporter versus I won't call them clowns, but the clowns that do support him?
Because I don't need validation from him or anyone else. And I don't subscribe to his definition of, a quote unquote high value man. And usually, again, I don't follow the guy, I don't listen to him, but his definition of a high value man is usually based on superficial surface items like how much you make, how tall you are, things like that. And you can have all of that and still be a dickhead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. yeah, and you can be abusive, you can be an asshole, but how do you factor that in?
Right.
You can have all that going for you and still not know what your purpose in life is. You have no freaking vision for yourself. And if you don't know your purpose and have no vision for yourself, how the hell are you going to lead a family?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when I listen to that stuff and then I look at and compare it to the things that I've done to become knowledgeable of knowledge of self, know thyself. You see that? Know thyself. It just doesn't. It doesn't measure up.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right. And
measure
he
up.
talks
So.
about that in the clip, like being submissive and letting the man lead, and some of the other points that you just said. But I think he gets it all backwards. And then
Yeah.
the very first clip that I've heard him say, he was tearing into this woman because he was like, you think you're gonna get somebody that's wealthy? You ain't gonna get nobody that's wealthy. How do you know what she's gonna get?
Right.
I know it's so. And another piece is so we hear this term come up. Women be submissive, and so let's keep it in the context of him and his platform, and he uses that. So what about the part where it also says, "Men love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it"? It says
Yeah.
women, respect your husbands and be submissive, but the greater responsibility is on the
It's
man.
on the man. Yo, that's crazy.
To
Yeah.
love like Christ loved and gave himself for it, that's a very hard thing to do. And the only way you are going to be able to do that is by knowledge of self, knowledge of God's word, his principles. And you need to be prayed up and fasted up in order to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because that's not easy.
Yeah.
So in my mind, you can't take a part of the puzzle and think it's complete. What about men loving their wives?
Yep.
Men being the husband. I've heard him talking about, keep the kids out of the man cheating on the wife. The wife should need to just be quiet. Oh, but it says the man, a man should be the husband of one wife. So you can't take one part of the scripture and leave the other two out.
Yeah.
Well, people do that all the time.
Yep.
They pick and choose the part that they think is relevant to the situation, but they don't read all of the context of the scripture.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
You can't use that one part and not talk about the others.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a two-part statement. So one thing touching on submission is Carrie Hilson posted a tweet or tweeted something, and she was just like, alpha women can be submissive, right? These strong, independent women, they can be submissive to a man who is able to lead her. And when he's able to lead her, she's gonna be soft. You're gonna get the most feminine experience, divine experience ever. And I believe that to be true. And I say that in a way that if a man's natural state is to provide and protect, a woman's natural state is to nurture. So I want to nurture someone, right, in partnership. But how can I nurture someone who, like you said, doesn't have a vision, doesn't have a goal? Like, baby, what we doing? Like, what am I nurturing? I told somebody this the other day. I was like, I want my man to come and give me 10 million and I bring him back 100 million. I want to multiply, right? Women, be fruitful and multiply is not just with children, it's with our wealth, it's with our spiritual, it's about growth, right? And so if we're not, and when you even talked about a high value man, it's not just about money, it's about knowing yourself, like you said, and it's about the understanding that you're going to continue to grow, you're going to continue to heal. So now when I'm in this healed place as this whole individual, I've realized that, okay, I'm going to be whole with you, and we're going to grow together. Because if you're not growing together, you grow apart, and then that's what we have divorce rates increasing, because nobody's trying to grow together, nobody's looking for conflict resolution. And I feel like I touched on this in the last podcast, like, somebody's like, oh well, I grew up with the ketchup in the refrigerator and you grew up with the ketchup in the cabinet, or the syrup, vice versa. That shouldn't even be an argument. Okay, boo, I'm gonna buy 2 ketchups because now it's gonna last us longer. I'm gonna put your ketchup in the fridge and I'm gonna put my ketchup in the pantry. I understand. Let me understand. Why did your mom put the ketchup in the refrigerator? Oh, because there was sugar in it, and where we lived at, ants could get in the cupboard in the summertime, so she just thought it was best to put all the sweet stuff in the refrigerator.
Or it just says keep refrigerated.
Yeah.
Right. Could be that
People don't have
simple.
common sense, but it's just like that understanding, right? How people like to do it. Like, there's no right or wrong way. There's just understanding what is.
No, that's the key. Knowledge is important and that's why relationships fail, because the two don't have knowledge of each other, of the wants and needs, and then you have to establish those those non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And so nothing. I mean, even something as simple as I like the ketchup in the refrigerator and I like it in the pantry, regardless of whether it says keep refrigerated or not. In my mind, that shit's not taboo.
It's
talk
not,
about
but
that.
the key thing she said was ask questions.
Yeah.
And that's what
Understand.
the point. And that's the point I'm getting to is
Yeah.
knowledge is important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Period. How many times have you guys tried to put something together, half-ass reading the instructions?
Oh
Not
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it all, and I'm an engineer, and so
Yeah.
I do it all the time because in my engineering mind, if I can work on an airplane, I can work on a damn wooden cabinet. Remember that wooden cabinet I put together, Melissa? And I was like, that shit kicked my ass, and I had to go back, take it apart. But sometimes you got to slow down,
Yeah.
so that you can speed up, gain momentum.
Yeah. And so this is the thing, right? If there was no Kevin Samuels, there would be no conversation like this to promote healing, to navigate through these situations in a healthier aspect. Because what I appreciate here in this conversation, that there was no cross bashing, there was no verbal assaulting on that end, because some people need that, right? Some people only thrive off of being abused, right? So being in abusive situations and experiences, not just domestically, but socially, environmentally. Some people stay on jobs where they're abused by their managers, by their bosses, just because, right? Not because they don't want to leave, but it's like, how do I leave? How do I manage this situation? How can I speak up and advocate for myself without the repercussions? They lead on or inciting the fear within us. So it's so multifaceted. I think that if we as a people focused on healing as women, right? When I work with my clients, I'm focusing on a holistic healing as a woman. Don't come to me about anybody else. Come to me about yourself. And it's about working on yourself, because when you work on yourself, you're going to see your reflection in everybody else around you. So if you're in situations that you don't want to see, baby, what within yourself do you need to work on and improve and enhance and become better in?
I think the whole, the hurt people is very true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is what we're experiencing with that clown. Somebody hurt him down the line. I don't know if it was a black woman. I don't know who it was, but somebody hurt him down the line, and he's projecting that on a mass full of people that you say are calling him Godfather.
Oh yeah, girl.
And what does that perpetuate in our community?
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but again, and that all could be true, but we cannot rule out the fact that the type of rhetoric he's spewing sells.
Oh yeah.
It could be all just a damn gimmick.
Oh yeah.
And we've but irregardless of it, you can never rule out intent versus impact.
Oh yeah.
Maybe his intent is just, look, I'm just out here trying to make $1, trying to get likes, whatever it is. But the impact is what we got to look at. It's just like single issue voters. Oh, I'm voting for this because I'm in a certain tax bracket and it impacts my taxes. All right, but what about the fact that they promote, racism or whatever horrible other pieces of rhetoric they spew? So you can't really separate the two. So that's the problem I have with certain platforms. I get that we're in a free, capitalistic, free will society, but you can't discount the impact that you're having. He's got to know that.
And that's the thing. Sometimes people don't care. They're like, because we're in a free will, capitalistic world, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to come over here. So I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. And if you don't like what I'm doing, then you can get on.
Yep.
And that's where I feel like we as individuals got to be accountable. So if I'm going to sit here and keep listening to this, and this is not, and half the dudes that's like high-fiving him, like one dude asked me, I'm like, bro, you single? You is single and struggling. I make more than you. Tell me how you high value.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be your man. Stop playing with me. And of course I'm joking, right? No, I'm not about to be your man. But like, come on. Come talk to me when you, let me show you Let me show you, like, the stuff you're talking. It's like you feel validated for somebody being able to speak down on black women in a way that you were unable to.
That's it, right there. You can't say it
Because you don't want that lashback. You
right.
don't want the repercussions of what you got to say. I remember this one guy, I was interviewing him, and he was just like, the problem with young millennial, specifically he said black women, millennials, he was like, y'all are too focused on y'all education and your careers than you are with getting married and starting a family. First of all, who said I want to walk around pregnant with your babies? That's the first thing. And why is that a problem? Are you in the position to take care of me and these babies that you want? No. Okay. So why is black women are the leading group in education or getting higher degrees a problem? Why is black women, the increasing number of entrepreneurship, a problem? Why are these things that black women accomplishing are a challenge or a problem? Instead of saying, okay, well, how can we do this together? How can, like you said, the divisiveness, how can we come together and build this empire? How can we come together and establish this legacy? Instead of looking at what I'm not doing to please you.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to is, and it's no secret that black women are forced to have to do it. I was raised by a single mother. I never knew my real father. So where did I leave my mother to do? She had to grind. And so when I see that, and then you have other black women seeing that, mama grind, I'm a grind. And what picture and what message does that put in her head? Well, maybe the story she's telling herself is, I can't depend on a man anyway, so let me go do it for myself.
Or your circumstances just force your hand.
That too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, none of this is monolithic. I'm just,
Yeah.
these are the type of things, these scenarios that could play out that could cause it. But when we just look at things from a common thread, black women are in a place to where you guys have to grind, go get the degrees, go get the positions, go get the bacon, have your own pan and your own damn refrigerator to put it all into.
Yeah.
And then by the time we meet y'all got your masters or you're working on your PhD, and that's what I expect nowadays. I don't expect to meet somebody who's a woman working at Kmart bagging groceries or Walmart. Kmart doesn't even exist anymore. I expect to meet a woman who has an advanced degree, maybe a director or senior manager or a VP. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then those are the circles I run into.
And that matters, right? That matters. That matters. That's so key. If we all hanging around people who sad and they bitter, like, I don't hang around women who are bitter and men bashers. I'm not gonna do that because I believe in the black man. I believe that there are black men out there of the same caliber as me, and I have met many of them. I'm friends with many of them. So yeah, that's just my note. I'm sorry, Melissa.
But I was gonna say, alpha females aren't born; they're made. Alpha females are not born alpha females. Alpha females are made alpha females based upon their situations.
I can agree with that. Somebody had hit me up on LinkedIn. I had met this young lady in Vegas, and we all were hanging out. And long story short, she sent a message. She was like, I don't know if you remember me, Kai, but we were in Vegas and we hung out with y'all. We just connected, and you really took care of us. You looked out for the sisters. And she said, women always remember the alpha. That's what she said. And so that's what, I pride myself on, being a leader, being helpful, protecting the black woman, looking out for my sisters, looking out for my brothers. And I think if everybody would take on that mindset that we need to look out for one another, remember the whole, it takes a village.
Yeah, nobody said that anymore.
Right. Yeah, so we got to get back to that. We got to get back to, building communities where we support and help one another. That's why I do the work I do with the, nonprofit foundation and the speaking engagements here in Atlanta. And, doing my thing with Melissa is so that I freely share and I'm very vulnerable about what I've been through and all the years of therapy because it's helped me grow and become who I am today. I can honestly look at myself in the mirror and say I love the black man that I've become today. 10 years ago I couldn't say that. 12 years ago I couldn't say that. So I had to learn, grow to get to this point, and then not just that, not be ashamed to share, where I've come from. That I was an insecure black man with zero confidence, with very low self-esteem, who thought he was stupid and couldn't measure up.
Wow.
I never thought I would be able to be on a podcast sharing that kind of stuff. But I know it's going to help someone else. It's not about me.
Right.
It's about the people. So, and I say this, Dr. Miles Monroe, he always would say that a tree doesn't bear fruit to consume it for itself.
Mm-hmm.
You bear fruit so that others can come pick the fruit and enjoy the fruit that comes off the tree. That's who we are. That's why we do what we do.
I love Dr. Miles Monroe, and I feel like if a lot of men listen to him and listen to his messages too, because I listen to him a lot on my journey, right? And being accountable for yourself and for your healing and owning who you are. And I think I wrote earlier, right? We hold everybody and anybody accountable just so that we don't have to hold ourselves accountable.
That's a whole new
If
dang
you
on
go
topic.
to the store and they didn't give you your extra honey mustard sauce, you get home, you like, dang, they didn't give me my extra honey mustard sauce. Okay, did you stop and check your bag? Did you ask for extra honey mustard sauce after you asked them for it? Did you double check? Did you da-da-da-da-da? Okay, well, if you had made your dinner at home, there's so many layers that you can go through to be accountable for yourself. And this isn't a black man, but Grant Cardone, when I was listening to his audiobook, 10X, that's one of the things that he said, and I didn't even realize, and it just confirmed what I had said. And he was just like, if we keep looking for ways to not hold ourselves accountable, when will we ever be accountable?
I was gonna say, and if let's go use your example of the honey mustard. Is it really that damn serious? In the grand scheme of things, you got 2 instead of 3. I mean, come on, big deal. So
But think about it, right? Those little things are the big things, right? So now it's like, okay, Kai didn't bring me my charger. Now you got my charger, right? My charger at your house, we was hanging out, and now my phone is about to die. Dang, Kai didn't bring me my charger. I told him I forgot my charger. Where in this did I take accountability? Other than I forgot my charger. I need to be more careful. I should have gone back to meet Kai instead of me expecting you to bring me my charger. Like, there's so many different things, but those small things. Remember, I don't know if y'all parents told you, right? But they told me if you tell a little white lie, it's going to turn into a bigger lie. If you steal one little piece of candy, that could grow into you stealing massive amounts of money. If you hit a girl in elementary school, you could grow up hitting people. So those little things and those little experiences can translate over to bigger experiences with more severe consequences.
I get what you're saying, but you forgot your charger. You forgot your charger.
To me.
Yeah, it is. It is. I get what you're saying, but in certain circumstances, all right, you forgot your charger. Shit happens. We forget. The older I get, the more I'm going to forget. So
yeah, I mean,
but
you could go get another one. But the honey mustard piece is, I get it that you could have asked, but you're expecting a service too. Like, I just spent money in your establishment, you should be giving me everything. Like, that's, if I have a bag full of food and you don't put napkins in a bag, that's not me necessarily asking for napkins. That should be a part of your service. So I think it's twofold.
But things happen, right? So if we forget on our end, cannot a worker forget? Those things do happen. So that's the thing, right? We can't extend compassion to ourselves and not to others. And that's the point I'm making with accountability. It doesn't matter if it's small or if it's large, these things translate. What compassion are we offering ourselves and are we offering others, even as it comes to healing? And yes, as you get older, some things don't matter. They're small stuff. Why are we sweating these small things, right?
Yeah,
There's a book.
You're
it's all small stuff, right?
Some, like Kai said that though. what does it mean in the grand scheme of things? But I think there's somebody else has to take accountability too. You can't always take the accountability yourself for everything.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying accountability for yourself in a situation. So if I'm in a situation, I can't make you take accountability. I can't make somebody apologize to me. I can't make somebody do right. I can only look at myself and see, okay, Amber, did you do what was right? Did you take the appropriate action? Did you do everything in your power to ensure you're satisfactory? Because if I'm looking at,
you did and it still didn't work out, the situation didn't work out, then what?
Then I can't own that. I can't own that. I can't own the other person's decisions. But it's a learning lesson, right? How do I move forward? How do I navigate? Okay, now I have an understanding of how to move forward. Does that make sense? Because
Yeah, I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, we all are responsible for our own choices and our own behaviors.
That's it. That's everything.
Regardless to what anybody else does, I'm still responsible for how I react, my reaction, and how I show up as a person.
That is very, very true. So what's the final word as we close out here, folks? This was a good conversation.
Yeah, we went quite a few places. So final word is this for me: intent versus impact. Although your intentions might not be ill-willed or malicious, you still have to think that, all right, if I do or say this, what's going to be the greater impact on my community, other communities, to people? Intent versus impact. That's my final word.
Yep.
My final word is to heal. Focus on your healing. Kai mentioned therapy. I've been to therapy. Go. Heal. Learn yourself. I tell people my goal is to raise my daughters with a childhood that they don't have to heal from. And it doesn't mean that I won't make mistakes, but it's me showing them that I'm accountable for myself and that I'm continuing to grow and to learn and that I'm learning from my mistakes and teaching them through that. So heal, because when you heal yourself, you heal the world around you. So that's my final word.
Love it. Any of y'all have businesses you want to talk about? You want to put a plug in?
Yes, sister. Put your plug in.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at a.richbook. All of my businesses are in my bio. I have an apparel brand. I have a podcast that I'm bringing back. And yeah, I just got mad stuff. So follow me at a.richbook and everything is on there.
Yep, Meaningful Power Foundation out of Detroit, Michigan. I'm here in Atlanta now, but me and my business partner, we work on a nonprofit in Detroit, Michigan, and we focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and we outreach to inner city kids to get them to be the next pipeline for engineering and science.
All right. Awesome. As always, folks, I see you because I am you.
You have just listened to the Girl Talk podcast with your host, Melissa Ann. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play. Until next time, remember, I see you because I am you.